Well, hey again, everyone. This is Bob from Bossrox DIY Solar, and this is a video that I'm not happy that I have to make. But one of our prominent solar gurus on the YouTube channel has come out with a video saying that you can charge your batteries from 0 to 100, no problem. Well, that's Will Prowse, and Will Prowse, you are wrong. I'm going to call you out on it. Will and I started doing solar right at the same time. I was just putting together my system when Will was living in his RV, putting together his first solar systems. So we've both been at it at a pretty good long time. And fortunately for Will, he has good speaking ability and good presentation, good camera equipment to do his videos, and he's made quite a killing off of his channel, and I'm happy for him. And all the information that he's put out over the years, most of it is spot on accurate. So, thumbs up to him for that. But when it comes to this 0 to 100% charge on lithium batteries, you're dead wrong on that, and I'm calling you out on it. Now, first of all, I've taken one of my banks and I've isolated it from the rest of them, and I'm discharging it right now. And right now I've got it down to 25.3, which is close to the knee point, which is about 25 volts, before it starts discharging very rapidly. Now on the upper end is 27.1, is about the knee joint there, where it starts charging very rapidly. And the strange thing about the two knee joints is at 27.1, you're 97% charged, and at the 25 volt mark, you still got 10% left in your bank. So there's quite a bit of difference in capacity between the low end and the high end. And really, when you're at 27.1 and you've got 97% of your capacity, there is absolutely no reason to go all the way up to 29.2. And since I'm on a 24 volt system, these are the figures I'm using here. So what you're going to find out here is that when you get to the knee joints, the voltages on your cells are going to start varying widely. And as you can see here, I'm at 25.3, close to the 25 volt knee joint. And right now, at about 11 thousandths of a volt difference in voltage. So it's already starting to wander. Normally, since I stay on all of my banks within the knee points, all of my cells stay within about a 5 thousandths of a volt difference. And I've checked it over and over again for months and months and months and months, and it's always the same. So I have rock steady voltage variances on all my cells, and that's because I stay within the knee joint. Now what you'll see here is, as this falls down below 25 volts, the variances in the voltages here will start getting quite dramatic. Now, if you keep on taking your banks and drop them all the way to 0 and then all the way up to 100, and you'll see the same thing when you go up to 100%, you'll see a wide variance of the voltages there too. And to me, that is not a good way to charge your batteries, because what you're doing is you're causing some cells to be more active than others, and it just exasperates itself over the long run. And what it's going to do is it's going to cause you to have to top off your batteries on a frequent basis. And that's what I'm trying to get you to avoid here, is having to go through the trouble of figuring out why you can't keep a balanced battery set. And the whole idea of this video is to try to convince you that if you stay within the knee points, you won't have any troubles, as long as you've got a good matched set of batteries. Now, I will say that if you can't get your hand on some EV grade batteries, it is probably possible that you can get 0 to 100 without any voltage variances on the batteries. But EV quality batteries are almost impossible to come by, and they're almost exclusively marked for vehicles, so they're very difficult to get a hold of. And if you can get a hold of them, they'll cost you twice as much as a good grade lithium battery. So really, for 99.9% of us out here, the only lithium cells that are available to us are, the A+ batteries, and good companies get them from, like a Pexium or a Dokin or even Deli Green. They put out some good quality batteries, and they're usually well matched, and as long as you stay within the knee, you'll have pretty steady voltages on your batteries throughout its life. And not only that, but I don't know about the longevity of a battery by going from 0 to 100, but on every other battery that's known to man, if you take it from 0 to 100, you're degrading your battery much faster than if you don't. So I can't say for sure if that applies to lithium iron phosphate batteries, but I would assume that to be the case. So anyways, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to follow this as it discharges and show you the cell voltages as it gets down below the knee joint, and show you why it's not a good idea to go from 0 to 100% charging. And then on the other end, I'm going to charge these back up all the way to 29.2 and show you that it does exactly the same thing. So anyways, we'll wait for that to happen, and I'll be back when we see something going on here. Alright, well, we've just reached the knee point at 25 volts, and let's see what's happening here. Yep. As you can see, we got one low cell there and one high cell, and my BMS just kicked out because it reached the setting I set for the knee joint. So what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to bypass the BMS and run it directly, and we'll follow this and see how bad it gets. Okay, we've just about reached the end. The lowest I'll let my cell go is 3.05, and it just passed that, and the high cell is 90, so we're looking at almost a 50 thousandths of a volt variance here. And what is going to be interesting is to find out, as it charges back up, will these follow the same numbers or the same levels all the way up to the charge, or once it gets past the knee, will it straighten out again? So this is the first time I've done a test like this, so this will be interesting to find out what happens. Alright, so now we're going to quit this test and we're going to go into charging and see what happens on the other end. Alright, now we're almost 1/3 charged on this bank right now, and as you can see, the cell voltages, the low one is 341 and the high one is 4.9, it looks like. So there's about a 9 thousandths of a volt difference in voltages between the cells, which is a little bit off more than it would be if I hadn't gone beyond the knee point. So going past the knee point does affect the balance of the cells when you come back to charging it again. But we'll see again here in a little while when it gets past 50% charge if that gets even better or stays the same. So we'll see about that then. All right, well, we're more than halfway charged now, and Apparently the balancers are working pretty good because we're within tolerance of just a couple thousandths of a volt there. So, all right, well, we'll see what happens next when we get up past the upper knee. Stay tuned. Well, I accidentally erased one of the segments here where I was going into the upper knee, so we're just going to have to go right to the end and go from there. Okay, gang, it's only been about 15 minutes since the last segment, and before I even started the camera here, I had a difference of 1/100,000th of a volt difference, which is 1/10 of a volt. So you can see the variation you get when you go from 0 to 100 now. And anybody that tells you that you can charge your batteries from 0 to 100 and not damage them, I have some serious doubts about that statement. And to tell you the truth, I think it was really stupid of Will to put out a video like that, because now some of these newer batteries, the rack system batteries and whatnot, they might have some BMSs in it with some more aggressive balancers that can deal with this sort of thing. But if you're doing a DIY like I am and using your own cells and balancers and BMSs and all that, this is typically what you're going to see. So just making a blanket statement that you can go from 0 to 100 charging your lithium batteries is really a stupid idea. So anyways, I'm going to go into a little more detail on specs and stuff like that in the next video. But, you know, just think about it. Will says, well, all the literature says that you can go from 0 to 100. What literature, Will? Any of the sellers that I buy my batteries from have in their spec sheets that you're going to get much longer life in your batteries if you stay within 80% DOD. Now, I'm doing about a 90% DOD, which isn't that far off, so I think that I'm treating my batteries pretty well. So staying within the knee is the ideal way of preserving your batteries, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to go into a little more detail about this in the next segment, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so you've seen what it looks like going from 0 to 100. On the lower end, we had about 50 thousandths of a volt difference between a couple cells, and 100 thousandths of a volt on the upper knee on a couple cells there. And I've got a pretty good matched set of batteries here. I've got mine from three sources: Apexium, Dokken, and Deligreen. And those are pretty good vendors for batteries. If you've got your batteries from somewhere else and you're having trouble with your balancing, what I would do is first thing is top off those batteries 3.65 once again. And as soon as it hits 3.65, don't disconnect it and put it back into service. Let it sit there and saturate for a couple of hours. Then put it all back together and put it back into service. And from there on, don't let it drop below 3.1 volts per cell. And when you go back to charging it, don't go above 3.4 volts per cell. And look at your balance in between those 2 points. If everything's looking good, then you've got a pretty good matched set of batteries. If for some reason they just won't stay balanced no matter what point they're at, then you just have a badly matched set of batteries. And if you're fortunate enough that you have two sets of banks that are doing the same thing, what I would do is take the ones that are lagging behind in one bank and stick them with the ones that are lagging behind in the other bank, and take the ones that are staying ahead and stick them over in the other bank, and you might end up with a pretty decently balanced set of batteries. Now, there is one drawback to staying within the knee point, especially in the wintertime. Because of the fact that we have less hours of sun, setting your chargers like I do at 27.1 will actually cut back the amperage going into your banks down to about half of what it normally would is if you had it set in the lithium setting. So what I have to do, and it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but what I have to do is I have to come in here in the morning and I have to set my chargers up about 0.4 of a volt higher than what I would when they're at full charge, until they get to full charge, and then I set them back again. If you're an owner of a Victron, you have a feature on that, which I like. Otherwise, you couldn't give me a Victron to use in my system. I wouldn't use it. But they do have one good feature on it, and that's an adjustable timer for the bulk charge, where you can set it at a certain voltage, and then after so many hours, then it'll go back to normal. That would be convenient to have something like that on these chargers right here, so I don't have to mess with them all the time. So those of you that have those car style battery lithium batteries and the rack system batteries, I'd like to see somebody do a test on them, taking them from 0 to 100. And I think you would probably see pretty much the same results. I can tell you this, they can't be using EV grade batteries in there because they're so much more expensive, and the prices that they're charging for these things are, are already so low that I don't think that's possible. So the only other thing that would make it possible where they could go from 0 to 100 and stay balanced would be a more aggressive balancer. Now for us DIYers, really about the only thing we've got as far as a decent balancer is one of these Heltec balancers here. Now you can get these on eBay and Amazon, and the vendors there will tell you that these will do 3 to 5 amps balancing, which is a bunch of hogwash. I tested it one time and I got probably about 120 milliamps out of it, and that really ain't squat. And what's even worse is the balancers in these BMSs here are only about 25 milliamps. So I mean, that's next to nothing. So that would be real curious to find out what rack system batteries look like in those car style batteries that they make for lithium, to see how they do from 0 to 100. But for me, going to 0 to 100 is to me is damaging the batteries. And as you can see, when you go that far out of balance from end to end and keep doing that over and over and over again, eventually you're going to throw the whole bunch of cells out of whack, and you're going to end up having to top off your batteries. So that's my take on this, and I think Will was way off when he made that video on going from 0 to 100 on lithium batteries, and really he ought to take that video down because that is absolutely hogwash. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.